Good day, folks. Welcome to another episode of Andrew's Life. I'm going to be doing another Anderson, Indiana video. This is going to be the east side of Anderson, Indiana. To be more specific, like if you were to come here to Anderson and look to purchase a home, this side of town I'm doing the video on would be considered the southeast side of Anderson, Indiana. Some people consider that, a lot of us may call this the east side of Anderson, but for those of you that are anal and Pacific, this is the southeast side of Anderson. So, this is the east side of Anderson. Enjoy the video. Now, on this side of Anderson, for the most part, the majority of these communities on this side of town are relatively quiet and safe. Now, there's communities around here that, in my opinion, the houses are a little close in together, closer than what I would desire. And in some of these communities, you have to park in the streets. Or two, you can park in the back of the house, because most of these houses are going to have a yard big enough to park your vehicle. Or you might even have a garage of some sort. But, my opinion about this side of town is, like I said, it's, for the most part, it's pretty quiet, it's safe. And this side of town is very affordable. I would say on this side of town, you can purchase a house, move-in condition ready, for around $50,000. I'm gonna say 60 grand. I remember just a few years ago, you can come around here and grab up one of these houses, move-in condition ready, for around 35 to 40 grand. At this point, with the housing market the way it is, you're going to be looking at $60,000 for a house around this community that's move-in condition ready. Now, I will say the property taxes on this side of town are significantly higher compared to what you would pay on the west end of Anderson. And in my humble opinion, taking into consideration what you get property-wise on this side of town, I personally think that the property taxes on this side of town ought to be a little lower. Because, in my opinion, as you guys will see later, when I do my video of West Anderson, I mean, there's plenty of decent communities on the west end of Anderson to where you get more land with your house and your property taxes are going to be half, if not even a third of what you pay to live on this side of Anderson. Now, me personally, I don't see anything special about East Anderson. I mean, the northeast side of Anderson is nicer than around here, which I will do a video of Northeast Anderson on a later video. But to me, East Anderson, I mean, Southeast Anderson, I mean, it's okay. Like I said, the majority of these communities are safe and pretty quiet. Now, I will say you do, now, I mean, like I said earlier, a lot of the houses around here are relatively close in together. And you do have a fair amount of people who do live like a bunch of slobs around here. So I would say, all in all, you know, this side of town, it's okay. I just think that the property taxes on this side of town need to be lower than what they currently are. I mean, I would say on average on this side of town, you can expect to pay $1,000 a year for your property taxes. With your homestead break, you'll pay $500 a year. Now, if you buy something on the west end of Anderson, take the sum I just gave you and cut that in half, and that's going to pretty much be your annual taxes that you'll pay in many communities on the west side of Anderson. And I know there's investors out here that are watching these videos, and I appreciate you guys watching my videos. If you want to invest, if you want to buy investment properties here in Anderson, my advice is going to be pretty much the same as it's always been in most places. Number one, come here to the community, do your own due diligence, ask questions, make sure your money right. And if you're not going to be living here in Anderson or be close enough to where you can personally and physically be out here on the grounds, keeping an eye on your properties, hire somebody that you know and trust that will do that for you. Don't just hire Mr. John Doe and expect him to do all your footwork. Because he may do your footwork and be honest. He may decide, you know what, I'm not going to be honest. I'm going to just take the money and keep it for myself or whatever. So my advice is, if you're wanting to be an investor, number one, I do not advise people to be a long distance investor. I mean, to me, that's a good way to lose your money. But if you want to be a long distance investor, at the very least, hire people that you know and trust that will be on the grounds, keeping an eye on your property. Ask those people to take pictures. Matter of fact, ask them to do videos. Ask them to give you a video of your property. That way, not only do you know that the people that you've entrusted and that you're paying to do your footwork, they're really doing what they're supposed to be doing. But also, you have at least an idea of what your property looks like, and whether or rather not it's being maintained. But yeah, like right now, look at all this crap. I mean, you got overgrowth like a motherfucker around here. I mean, like I said, there's areas here in West Anderson that actually look better than this. That you can buy a home, and your property taxes are going to be half of what you pay around here. See, this is what I'm talking about by some of these communities being overcrowded. I mean, look at how these cars are parked in the street, one after another. Like, if you live on the street and you had to go somewhere, go to work, whatever the case, there's a good chance you might come back home and your normal parking spot might be taken up. Now, I know for a fact in this particular neighborhood, the property taxes around here are going to go for an average of $1,000 a year. With the homestead break, you'll pay $500. And that's assuming that the taxes haven't went up. Now, this is Columbus Avenue, which is the main road that's here in Southeast Anderson. And really, when it comes to East Anderson, I mean, to me, there's two parts of East Anderson. I mean, you got this part of East Anderson, and then there's a part of East Anderson that's much nicer, where the houses are much more kept up, the yards are kept up, the community is just a more kept up community. And I'm gonna do a video of that part of East Anderson on another video. And also, as a side note, for those of you that are gonna probably accuse me of not getting all of this side of town, well, guess what? You're right, I didn't. Why? Because I don't got that kind of time on my hands to get every nook and cranny of any particular community or side of town. I mean, like I told you guys before, I work a full-time job. I've been working 6 days a week, plus I'm doing the home renovations, and I just don't have that type of time on my hands that's necessary to go down every street, every neighborhood, drive by every business. I just don't got that kind of time on my hands. Now, once I start getting paid for this YouTube stuff, then okay, we can talk. But for right now, it is what it is. Now here's a slightly nicer part of East Anderson. Slightly nicer. I mean, this is Terrace Road. Now here in East Anderson, one side note I would like to put out there is, if you're gonna come here to Anderson, Indiana to live, and you're interested in coming here on the east side of Anderson, the thing to know about East Anderson is, the higher you go up in the street numbers beyond East 29th, the better the community. So if you want to live here in East Anderson, and you're looking for a community that's not too trashy, to where the majority of the properties are kept up and the yards are kept up, and your best bet is going to be to check out the streets that are above 29th. See, right now I'm on Columbus Avenue because I just want to show you guys a little bit of Columbus Avenue. They're doing, let's see here. But yeah, if you're here in Anderson, or you're gonna be here in Anderson, just keep in mind that any street that you go that's above 29th is gonna be your best bet if you're looking to buy a home on this side of Anderson. Here's East 31st. I mean, you know, once again, this is not a bad neighborhood. Most of the houses look decent. Yards aren't, and most of the yards are fairly kept up. Your roads are not full of, well, this side of the road is full of vehicles, but the other side isn't. So yeah, your best bet here in East Anderson is, personally, if you want to live on this side of town, anything above East 29th is going to be your best bet when it comes to buying a house. Now, the higher you go on the street numbers here in East Anderson, typically the better the community. Now, if you insist on buying a home that's from East 29th on down in the street numbers, I mean, I'm not saying those areas are bad. I'm just saying that those areas are not going to be as good. I mean, a lot of the houses are not going to be as well kept. A lot of your lawns are not going to be as well kept. You're going to have a bunch of houses real close in together, vehicles all over the place, broke down vehicles off in people's yards, and you know, some of those areas are going to just be downright trashy. Now this street is Main Street, which is still East Anderson. This is the Brook neighborhood. Now this side of East Anderson is decent. I mean, a lot of these houses are, well, they're not too big, and some of these lots are decent size. And most of the people around here do a fairly decent job of keeping up their yard. this is East 40th. I mean, these are going to be the type of communities that you're going to want to look for if you're looking to live in East Anderson. I mean, that's my opinion anyway. Because in many of these communities, like this is East 40th. Now, if you come down, if you drive down here on East 40th, and then you choose to go back and drive down, let's say East 23rd, there's gonna be a significant difference in the two communities. Now, around here, I will admit some of the areas, you got a couple of properties here and there that are a little trashy. But I would say around here, for the most part, a lot of these properties are fairly well kept. I mean, there's a house here for sale. I don't know what they want for it. I don't know a damn thing about the property, other than it's for sale. If I had to take a wild guess, the seller is gonna probably be seeking the upper $50,000 to the upper $60,000 range, if I had to take a guess. Now around here, like I said, you got a few areas that are a little trashy, but even in some of these areas, they're not quite as trashy and overcrowded with broke down vehicles like, let's say, East 23rd or something. Alright folks, I'm going to go ahead and end the video right here, because my phone is getting ready to cut off on me. So I will see you guys on the next video. Everybody have a blessed one.